I am Minerva, the village poetess, hooted at, jeered at by the outcomes of the street. For my heavy body, cock-eyed and rolling walk, and all the more when Butch Welby captured me after a brutal hunt. He left me to my fate with Dr. Myers, as I sank into death, growing numb from the feet up, like one stepping deeper and deeper into a stream of ice. Will someone go to the village newspaper and gather into a book the verses I wrote? I hungered so for love, I thirsted so for life.
After I got religion and steadied down, they gave me a job in the candy works. And every morning I had to fill the tank in the yard with gasoline that fed the blow fires in the sheds to heat the soldering irons. And I mounted a rickety ladder to do it, carrying buckets full of the stuff. One morning as I stood there pouring, the air grew still and seemed to heave, and I shot up as the tank exploded. And down I came with both legs broken, and my eyes burned crisp as a couple of eggs. For someone left a blowfire going, and something sucked the flame in the tank. The circuit judge said whoever did it was a fellow servant of mine, so old world son didn't have to pay me. And I sat on the witness stand as blind as black fiddler, saying over and over,
I didn't know him at all.
No other man, unless it was Doc Hill, did more for people in this town than I. And all the weak, the halt, the improvident, and those who could not pay flocked to me. I was good-hearted, easy Dr. Myers. I was healthy, happy, and comfortable fortune, bliss with a congenial mate. And then one night, Minerva, the poetess, came to me in her troubles crying. I tried to help her out, she died. They indicted me. The newspaper disgraced me. My wife perished by broken hearts, and pneumonia finished me.
The secret of the stars, gravitation. The secret of the earth, layers of rock. The secret of the soil, the germ. The secret of man, the sower. The secret of women, the soil. My secret, under a mound that you shall never find.
He protested all his life long. The newspapers lied about him villainously, that he was not at fault from a nervous fall, but only tried to help her. Poor soul so sunk in sin, he could not see that even trying to help her, as he called it, he had broken the law, human and divine. Passers-by, an ancient abomination to you. If your ways would be ways of pleasantness, and your pathways peace, love God and keep his commandments.
I was only 8 years old, and before I grew up and knew what it meant, I had no words for it, except that I was frightened, and I told my mother, and then my father got a pistol and would have killed Charlie, a big boy, 15 years old, except for his mother. Nevertheless, the story clung to me. The man who married me, a widower of 35, was a newcomer and never heard it till 2 years after we were married. Then he considered himself cheated, and the village agreed that I wasn't really a virgin. Well, he deserted me, and I died the following winter.
Me and him and me. We're always together, as you can see. I wish he'd leave so I could be free. Getting a little bit tired of he.
Tired.
And he may be a bit bored with me.
Yeah, bored.
On movies and ladies, we cannot agree. I like to dance. He loves to ski. He likes the mountains. I love the sea. I like hot chocolate. He wants his tea. I want to sleep. He has to pee. He's meaner and duller and fatter than me. But I guess there's worse things we could be. Instead of 2, we could be 3. Me and him and me.
Very well, you liberals, and navigators into realms intellectual, you sailors into heights imaginative, blown about by erratic currents, tumbling into air pockets, you murder full of slaps, teas and Tennessee Claflin shops, you town with all your boasted wisdom how hard at the last it is to keep your soul from splitting into cellular atoms, while we, seekers of earth's treasures, getters and hoarders of gold, are self-contained, compact, harmonized, even to the end.
Did you ever hear of Editor Whedon giving to the public treasury any of the money he received for supporting candidates in office? Or for writing up the canning factory to get people to invest? Or for suppressing the facts about the bank when it was rotten and ready to break? Did you ever hear of the circuit judge helping anyone except the bankers or the Q Railroad? Or did Reverend Pete or Reverend Sibley give any part of their salary earned by keeping still, or by speaking out as the leaders wished them to do to the building of the waterworks? But I, Daisy Fraser, who always passed along the street through rows of nods and smiles, and caws and words such as, "There she goes," never was taken before Justice Arnett without contributing $10 in costs to the school fund of Spoon River.
I was only 8 years old. And before I grew up and knew what it meant. I had no words for it, except that I was frightened and told my mother, and that my father got a pistol and would have killed Charlie, who was a big boy, 15 years old, except for his mother. Nevertheless, the story clung to me, but the man who married me, a widower of 35, was a newcomer and never heard it till 2 years after we were married. Then he considered himself cheated, and the village agreed that I was not really a virgin. Well, he deserted me, and I died the following winter.
Henry got me with child, knowing that I could not bring forth life without losing my own. In my youth, therefore, I entered the portals of dust. Traveler, it is believed in the village where I lived that Henry loved me with a husband's love, but I proclaim from the dust that he slew me to gratify his hatred.
At the battlefield of Waterloo, when Maitland the Englishman called to them, "Surrender, brave Frenchmen!" There, at the close of the day, with the battle hopelessly lost, and the hordes of men, no longer the army of the great Napoleon, streamed from the field like ragged strips of a thundercloud in the storm. Well, what Cameron said to Maitland, ere the English made fire smooth the brow of the hill against the sinking light of day. Well, what I say to you, and to all of you, and to you, O world, I charge you carve it upon my stone.
I would have been as great as George Eliot, but for an untoward fate. For look at the photograph of me made by Pennywit. Chin resting on hand and deep set eyes, gray too and far searching. But there was the old problem. Should it be celibacy, matrimony, or unchastity? Then John Slack, rich druggist, wooed me, luring me with the promise of leisure for my novel, and I married him, giving birth to 8 children, and had no time to write. It was all over with me anyway, when I ran the needle in my hand while washing the baby's things, and died from lockjaw and ironical death. Hear me, ambitious souls. Sex is a curse of life.
When Reuben Pantier ran away through me, I went to Springfield. There I met a lush, whose father just deceased, left him a fortune. He married me when drunk. My life was wretched. A year passed, and one day they found him dead. That made me rich. I then moved to New York, where a gray-haired magnate went mad about me, so another fortune. He died one night right in my arms. There was almost a scandal. I then went to Paris. I was now a woman, insidious, subtle, versed in the world, and rich. My sweet apartment overlooking the Champs-Élysées was a center for all sorts of people: musicians, poets, dandies, nobles. I then wed Count Navigato, native of Genoa. We went to Rome, and he poisoned me, I think. Now, in Campo Santo, overlooking the sea where young Columbus dreamed new worlds,